Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. Last time we made our way through more of the beeline here, getting ourselves an 8-ball and a tower control mission, so some good old single player content and ranked mode content. And now, we're continuing forward here with Just Go Ahead Now, the Spin Docto Station. So here we have a choice of 3 different weapons, the Jet Squelcher and Splat Bomb, Rapid Blaster Pro and Splat Bomb, and the Dynamic Roller and Splat Bomb. So they all share the same bomb type, but we'll start with the recommended here, as it looks like to be the easiest weapon for the said mission. In this area, shooting the ink switches will help you out. Look carefully for the ink switches. And please watch your step. Take care out there. Let's go ahead and begin the test. So we gotta spin our way to the goal, and I already see one of these set switches. So if we shoot it here, jump, because it's a troll move. Heyo, didn't see that coming. Most first players don't. That is a troll move to push that fence forward like that, because it can easily kill you by just hitting the first switch. Yeah, I can definitely say I fell victim to that in my first playthrough. I think pretty much everyone falls victim to that fence trap in their first playthrough of this level. It's just very easy to just not pay attention to that thing and then get blindsided by the fence. There we go, we're doing good. Good, as Cuttlefish is saying. Yo, Cap, get with the times already. Yeah, now we say that we're doing pretty poppin', don't you know? Oh wait, no, sorry, that's like the 80s lingo. We're kind of regressing. But hey, old is the new. It's whack, yo. I mean, that's what they say in this. It's very whack. I'm gonna stop now. I'm not even getting ahead, I'm just behind. I don't even know what the lingo is anymore. How you doing, fellow kids? Go ahead and take care of these Octarians here. It's fabulous, as Cuttlefish is saying. Captain is certainly energetic with his praise. Precisely what I would have done. Yeah, you say that about everything, Cuttlefish. Are you serious right now? This really wants the credit. That's really it. That sounds like Cuttlefish for you, though. Go ahead and hit this switch. Be careful with your footing here, because it's very easy to fall off the platform as it's moving around. There we go. Means to the final checkpoint. So let's go ahead and fill up our ink. And now, gotta hop to it and give them what for. Shoot all the switches and, yeah, just be careful on the way down. Don't think, just jump in, right? Yeah, that's the thing we gotta live by, because all you gotta do is jump and shoot. Miss any of those targets and you're probably gonna die, so do your best not to miss. Would you look at that? We completed the beeline list of memcakes. 2 full sets now? Young Squire, you've outdone yourself. I'm not much of a teacher, but if I was, I'd give you an A for effort. Let's go ahead and see what our reward is for clearing the beeline. Well, the full set tells an interesting story, doesn't it? One good turn deserves another. Try this on for size when you reach the promised land. We got ourselves the Neo Octoling armor, something we can use when we get to Inkopolis. My own collection topped out at a mighty 2. Memcakes, I mean. 2 memcakes is not a meal. Not even much of a snack. Wait, so you telling me you're gonna eat all these? Can I at least have one? I don't even know what these things taste like. I kind of want to try a memcake for myself. I mean, maybe I can try this one we just got. Maybe I could try the Twinticle Auto Trooper. That could be tasty, right? 2 fat and heavy locks hang low. They frame your face above a base of stumpy leg and pigeon toe. Okay, take it back. Maybe this one wouldn't be the best one to try. Doesn't really sound the most tasty based on that description. It even looks mad at me. Just the idea of it being eaten by me, it makes it mad. I'm sorry, Auto Trooper. I don't want to eat you anymore. I'm going to go back to the Spin Docto Station. And now, let's go ahead and pick one of the other 2 weapons to make our way through this test. So let's go ahead and move our way up the difficulty ladder here. Let's select the Rapid Blaster Pro. We meet again, fellow first-time trap. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You almost did. I definitely did see that coming this time. With the Rapid Blaster here, it's not the fastest weapon, even though it has rapid in the name. So it's a little bit of oxymoron situation, and it's very easy to still get pushed by that fence. Thorn weapons are gonna be kind of problematic here, as we can see. This one shoots slower than our previous weapon, but not by a huge amount. So in some ways, this might be a little bit easier to use compared to the Jet Squelcher. In some ways, it may be harder. It's really just gonna depend on your playstyle. For me, I find this one to be a pretty okay weapon to use for this mission. It may be slower than the Jet Squelcher, but it does a lot of damage. So because of this, we can activate these switches pretty fast, and in some cases, that's definitely gonna help us out. Here we can get all these points at like one shot, so in some cases, stuff like that is just made easier with the said blaster. It's mainly the range of the said weapon. Blasters are usually a good thing for collecting things from a distance or even hitting switches, just because of its strength along with its, well, blast radius. These things have a pretty big blast radius because of the whole exploding effect of the said shot, making things a lot easier for you to hit things and even just do more damage as a whole. Just gonna charge up here my ink a little bit as we get to the top, and now, final checkpoint. Same idea as before, but I definitely don't want to jump down there at half ink. That would be a problem. Go ahead and aim to all these targets and just shoot. Trying to keep my hand here as steady as possible because with motion controls, when we're on Twitch, and I could be dead. But there you go. We completed the mission with the Rapid Blaster. So now, let's go ahead and make our way back to Spin Docto Station for the Dynamo Roller. One more weapon here to choose, and it's by far the hardest one. Go ahead and select the Dynamo Roller. Dynamo Rollers, in my opinion, not a great weapon to use in Splatoon. And that's just mainly because while they're super powerful, they're super slow. Look at that charge time. It takes a long time to push that thing. It's just not my favorite kind of weapon to use, to be honest. It's just too slow. And for a mission like this, it's definitely going to make things a lot harder because we don't want to move too slow with our flings. Because these switches, they rotate around after a while after you hit them, which means these platforms will go back in place. So we can't just sit here forever waiting on this charge time because it could definitely mess us up. So this is one you're gonna have to play a little bit slower because of the slower nature of the Dynamo Roller. While it may do a lot of damage moving these switches around almost instantaneously, a trade-off is that it'll take you like, what is that, 3 seconds just to hit a switch? It's a long charge time. It didn't need to be this long. That's the problem with Dynamo Rollers. I mean, these things can be pretty effective, and I've seen people use these effectively in multiplayer modes before, but for a mission like this, it's just not my cup of tea. It's just more of a personal preference. I'm not really the biggest fan of using rollers in general in Splatoon 2 all too much. And it's just mainly because of how I started to play this game compared to the first one. In Splatoon 1, I never really used motion controls because it was on the Wii U, and you had to play the game using the Wii U's gamepad, which is a big, bulky controller. So using motion controls, something like that, was not really a thing I was comfortable with, so I used stick controls. Rollers work great for stick control, but not as well for motion control in my experience. As in Splatoon 2, I've tried to use rollers a little more frequently, but I just haven't been able to really find a roller that meets my playstyle using motion control specifically. And that's just because of the more twitchy nature that motion control brings. It's harder to be more accurate with the said rollers with motion controls in comparison to using stick controls. This is a weapon type I use almost all the time in the first game, rarely ever in the second. And Dynamo Rollers, no matter the game, never really got used. I'm just not a fan of the slow type. But with that, we made it to the end of the mission, so now we're done with the Spin Docto Station. So, we got one more level here. Not really part of the B line per se, it's the link between B and I. It's Grind It Out, Poppin' Fresh Station. So here we have a choice of 3 different weapons, the Splat Charger and Splat Bomb, the Bamboozler 14 Mark 1 and Splat Bomb, and Jet Squelcher and Splat Bomb. So let's start with the first one here, the Splat Charger, as it is the recommended weapon. Please pop all 30 target balloons. If you leave a single balloon unpopped, you'll fail. Jump on in and we'll get started. Oh, if you take any damage, the test will end, so take care. Take care out there. let's go ahead and begin the test. This one's similar to another test we had on the Beeline. That was pretty much the same idea, riding on rails and shooting down crates. Not balloons, crates. Same idea though. We gotta destroy all these balloons to continue forward. I do find this one a little bit easier than shooting crates though, because it feels like you have a little more time to shoot these. But if you're paying attention to how much of a payout we get for completing this with the splat charger here, you'll probably piece it together and figure it out that this is probably the one that's gonna be the hardest to use here. Usually the higher payouts mean the harder the weapon's gonna be for completing a said mission. And this one can be a little more difficult just because of the charge time of the said charger. While this thing has some really good range, it takes a while to charge up a shot to actually hit these said balloons. So in some cases, having a faster shooting weapon with less range might make this easier for you than a long-range weapon that can do more damage but can take a while to charge. In a case like this, I almost fail because I'm out of ink and I need the charge. The splat charger also takes a lot of ink per shot, so you gotta be paying attention to how much ink you actually have in your pack, because if you run low, you can still shoot something, it's just gonna be a lot weaker and take a lot longer to charge up. So, anytime you have a moment to recharge your ink, you're gonna wanna do so. And also in this mission, don't use the bombs. The bombs just bounce off the balloons, so while they give you a bomb type to use here, you might as well not have because they are completely useless in this mission. We don't really complete a line because this was a link between B and I to begin with, but hey, now we can continue on with the said line. So you know what? Let's go ahead and go back to Poppin Fresh Station and finish up this test with the R2 weapons. So let's go ahead and pick the Bamboozler 14 Mark I, the mouthful name of a charger. So this one has less range than a standard splat charger, but it does charge up a lot faster. So this is going to be a little bit easier for us in comparison to using the previous weapon just because of that overall charging time. But I do in some ways find this mission to be a little bit easier with the splat charger, and it's probably just because of my aim as a whole. If you're confident with your aiming with a charger weapon, you can do a lot of damage to foes in multiplayer, but for a mode like this, you can also hit a lot of targets in a very short amount of time, and that's because of the twitchy movement that you can get using the gyroscope controls. Chargers are really recommended specifically to use motion controls because you can't really get the same kind of fluidity in Splatoon by using stick controls. Even if you crank the sensitivity up to max with the stick, it doesn't move as fast as just twitching your hand left, right, and up and down. So chargers are really beneficial to use motion controls with, and a mission like this really teaches you that, because trying to complete this mission without the motion controls, I just find to be really difficult. I did try playing this in handheld mode with this mission, and in handheld mode, I don't really use motion controls much at all in this game, and that's just mainly because trying to play Splatoon 2 with motion controls in like a moving vehicle, you might as well be spinning around in a desk chair. It's a kind of impossible feat, and a mission like this is a lot harder using stick controls. But there you go, we cleared the mission using the Bamboozler here, so let's go ahead and make our way back into the mission one more time to complete it with the Jet Squelcher. So back here in the Poppin Fresh Station, let's go ahead, pick the Jet Squelcher, and begin the test. This here is probably going to be the easiest one for you to use for the said mission, because this has some good range and you don't have to charge the shots. So all you gotta do is aim here and hit your targets, which is really beneficial. So on a first playthrough, I'd probably recommend people use the Jet Squelcher if they're using stick controls here. As mentioned earlier, using motion controls with the chargers is recommended with how fast your aim can be. And the same kind of applies for any weapon in the game, but specifically, the charger weapons really benefit from gyro controls. So if you're not very comfortable with your aim and you don't really think you have enough time for charging up a charger weapon, the Jet Squelcher here definitely makes this mission a lot easier. I found it to be more consistent for me to clear this mission while playing in handheld mode without using motion controls and just using the stick controls. I found it more consistent for me to play through this with the Jet Squelcher, as with the other charger weapons, even with something as fast as the Bamboozler, I would be missing my targets, and if you miss any of these balloons, these rails do not spawn, so you can't continue. And because of that, you fall and die. So, yeah, Jet Squelcher is probably the easy one here to pick if you don't use motion controls. I know motion controls are not for everyone when it comes to video games, doubly so when it comes to the Splatoon series, because it can be something that is a pretty big learning curve for something like Splatoon. It took me a few weeks to kind of learn the ins and outs of motion controls after playing the series for so long with stick controls, but once I started to use motion controls, I couldn't go back. Motion controls in Splatoon are so good. But now with that, we have completed the rail station, so Poppin' Fresh is all complete. Got all our check marks, and we're ready to continue on with a new line. But before we do anything else, we gotta look at that mem cake. It's a power egg mem cake. Though slick with slime, I keep my grip. The chill sweeps through my gift from you. I mustn't let this cargo slip. It's very important you keep a grip on that egg, because if you're playing Salmon Run, that's your pay. You drop your power egg, you're not getting paid for the day. It's a very simple looking mem cake, simply just because power eggs are just glorified circles. Not very much they can do with the design for that reason when you compress it down. It's just a circle. I mean, they did what they can. I can tell it's a power egg, especially with the little bump on the top. You can definitely see like the inner part of the egg, so it's still pretty detailed for what it is, but there you go. We completed the B line. We're ready to go ahead and continue another one here. We can continue with the I line. We can make our way over all the way over the C, as that's where we have one of our 4 things. Or we could just continue one of the other lines that we have here instead and just kind of do whatever we want. But I think we'll be figuring out where we go next here in the Deep Sea Metro in the next episode. Next time on Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, we'll go ahead and explore a new line here, possibly making our way further down the I line. I'll see you guys next time.